Nobody tells you when it starts. That is the first thing you need to understand. There is no alarm, no warning, no moment where something obvious changes and you think, wait, something is different here. It begins the way the wind begins before a storm. You don't see the wind, you only feel it later. And by then the storm is already close. Most people who hold turquoise in their hands never ask the question they should be asking. They ask what it looks like. They ask what it costs. They ask if it is real or fake. But they never ask the one question that actually matters. What does it know about me? And that silence, that space between what people ask and what they should be asking, is where everything begins. Before I go further, go ahead and confirm you are already subscribed to this channel and write in the comments the country where you are watching this video right now. I want to know how far the knowledge of my people reaches, because what I'm about to share with you is not something you will find in a store. It is not something printed on the back of a tag next to a price. There is a reason this kind of knowledge is not explained openly. There is a reason it has been passed quietly, from mouth to ear, from elder to the ones considered ready. Not because it was hidden, because it was preserved. There is a difference between something hidden and something preserved. Hidden things are locked away out of fear. Preserved things are kept safe until the right moment, until the right person is standing in front of them. My people understood something about turquoise that most of the modern world never learned, and they understood it not because they studied it in a book. They understood it because they lived with it. I will not tell you everything tonight. Some things need to be carried slowly, but I will show you enough to change the way you look at what you thought you already knew. Here is what is happening right now in this moment. In thousands of homes across the world, someone is wearing a turquoise stone. They bought it because it was beautiful. Maybe it was a gift. Maybe they saw it somewhere and felt something pull them toward it. A feeling they couldn't name, just a feeling. They put it on, they went about their day, and nothing seemed to change. That is exactly what concerns me. Because the things that change you the deepest never announce themselves. They don't knock on the door. They sit quietly in the corner. They wait. The ancient ones in my tradition did not treat turquoise like decoration. They did not place it on the body the way you place a ring, because it looks good with your outfit. When my people wore turquoise, it was a statement of relationship. Not with fashion, not with beauty, with something much older than either of those things. And that relationship came with responsibility. It came with awareness. It came with a kind of attention that most people today simply do not have. Not because they are not intelligent, but because no one ever taught them to pay that kind of attention. So when I say something is happening right now to people who carry turquoise without understanding what they are carrying, I am not trying to frighten you. I am trying to wake you up. Let me show you how this works. Not with complicated language, not with theory, with something simple, something you can feel as I describe it. Everything begins with thought, not dramatic thought, not dark thought, small thought, a repeated feeling that something is slightly off, a heaviness you carry into the morning that you can't explain, a moment where you look at someone you love and feel, for just a second, like they are a stranger. These things come and go. You notice them the way you notice a cloud passing. But turquoise, when it is misunderstood, when it is carried by hands that do not know what they are holding, it does not stay neutral. In our tradition, turquoise is a connector. That is the word that gets closest to what the elders taught. A connector between the world you can see and the world you cannot. Between the self you show others and the self that lives underneath. Now here is the part most people miss. A connector does not choose what it connects to. That depends entirely on you, your state of mind, your emotional condition. The things you have been feeding yourself, thoughts, words, images, stories. If you are clear, if you are grounded, if you carry awareness, turquoise connects you to something that steadies you, that deepens you, that keeps you anchored when the world tries to pull you loose. But if you're not clear, if you are scattered, if you are carrying unresolved things, if you have been living on the surface of your own life without looking inward, then what happens is different. The connection still happens. But what it connects you to is whatever is loudest inside you, whatever is unresolved, whatever is waiting. And that, very quietly, begins to shape everything. Your thoughts become heavier. Small irritations grow into real anger. Distances that did not exist before start to open up between you and the people you care about. And you don't notice it because it never arrives all at once. It arrives the way frost arrives, slowly, overnight, while you are asleep. Now I want to break something, because I know what many of you are thinking right now. It's just a stone. I understand that thought. I was taught to expect it. But here is what I want you to consider. The problem is never the stone. The stone does not have a personality. The stone does not have intentions. The stone does not decide to enter your life and cause trouble. That is not how any of this works. The mistake people make, the belief that needs to be corrected, is thinking that the danger, if there is any, lives in the object. It does not. The turquoise is a mirror. It reflects. Everything it amplifies was already inside you. Everything it brings to the surface was already there underneath, waiting for something to pull it up. This is the thing my people understood that the modern world forgot. Objects are not passive. They are not just decoration. They carry energy the way a river carries water, constantly in the direction of whatever pulls it. So when you put turquoise against your skin without awareness, without understanding what state you are in, without asking what you are bringing to this relationship, you are not just wearing a stone. You are opening a channel. And a channel with no keeper will carry anything. Anything. You were taught that spiritual danger comes from the outside, from dark places, from strange rituals, from obvious threats. But the truth my elders carried quietly for generations, is that the greatest shifts in a person's life happen through the ordinary, through the small, through the things you decided were safe because they were beautiful. The danger is not where you think it is. It never was. Let me tell you what this looks like in real life. Not in ancient stories, not in ceremony, in a regular house, in a regular week. Someone who has been carrying turquoise without awareness starts to notice that their sleep changes. Not dramatically, just something is slightly different. They wake up and they do not feel rested. Not always, just often enough to notice. Then the thoughts start. Old thoughts. Things they believed they had resolved. Doubts about themselves, about their choices. A quiet voice that asks, is this really where I'm supposed to be? And because these thoughts feel so personal, so internal, the person never connects them to anything outside themselves. They think it is just stress. They think it is just life. Meanwhile, the connections they have with people around them begin to shift. Small conflicts that should pass quickly start to linger. Conversations that should end in understanding end in distance instead. Their decisions, the small daily ones, start to carry a strange weight, as if the clarity they usually have has been replaced by something thicker, something slower. Their home changes too, not visibly, not in ways you can point to, but the feeling of the home changes. The air feels different, and the people who visit sometimes feel it too. They do not say anything, but they leave a little earlier than they planned to. This is the consequence no one warns you about, not because it is secret, because it is gradual. Gradual things are invisible until suddenly they are not, until the day you look around and realize that something you cannot name has slowly rearranged your world, and you cannot pinpoint when it started. You only know that it did. I want to be very clear about something before I offer you what the elders taught. This is not complicated. The old ways were never complicated. Complexity is something that enters when wisdom leaves. What my people understood was simple, beautifully simple. Awareness is the protection. That is the foundation. Everything else rests on that. Before you carry turquoise, before you hold it, wear it, place it in your space, you must know where you are. Not where you are physically, where you are inside. Are you at peace? Are you carrying unresolved anger? Are you afraid of something you have not named yet? Are you grieving, even quietly? These are not signs that you cannot carry turquoise. They are simply things you must know before you do. Because an aware carrier is a protected carrier. The first practice is simple. Before you place turquoise on your body, be still for a moment. Breathe. Ask yourself, honestly, what am I feeling right now? Not what you think you should feel. Not what you want to feel. What you actually feel. That moment of honesty. That is the act of becoming a keeper of the channel, rather than just a vessel for whatever moves through it. The second practice involves words. My people believed and believe in the power of spoken intention. Not prayer in any formalized sense, simply speaking to what you carry. Tell the stone why you are wearing it. Tell it what you are asking for. Tell it what you are not willing to carry. This sounds unusual to people who were not raised with this understanding. But think about it. You speak to your children. You speak to your plants. You speak to the people you love to tell them who you are and what you need. Why would you carry something close to your body, against your skin, over your heart, and say nothing to it? Silence is not neutral. Silence in the wrong context is an open door. The third thing is the simplest and the hardest. Stay connected to the ground, literally. My people walked on the earth. They sat on the earth. They did not separate themselves from the living world the way modern life encourages. Turquoise comes from the earth. It remembers where it came from, and it responds to the presence of someone who remembers that too. Walk outside without shoes when you can. Sit under something old, a tree, the sky, a quiet corner of the natural world. Let that connection remind you what you are made of. That grounding does more to stabilize what turquoise amplifies than any ritual I know. Because when you are rooted, when your feet know the earth, the channel that turquoise opens leads somewhere stable, somewhere clean, somewhere your ancestors would recognize. Here is what I want you to carry away from this. Turquoise is not dangerous. It is powerful. And power in the hands of someone who does not understand what they are holding does not become evil. It becomes unguided. And an unguided force, even a beautiful one, will find its own path. The path of least resistance. The path that follows whatever is loudest, whatever is unresolved, whatever has been left in the dark too long. My people were not afraid of turquoise. They honored it. There is a difference. Fear closes. Honor opens. When you fear what you carry, you give it a weight it was never meant to have. When you honor what you carry, you enter into a relationship, a conscious one, where you are not just a holder but a partner. That shift, from holder to partner, changes everything. The turquoise that sat quietly on the wrist of my grandmother was not the same stone in the hands of a stranger. Same mineral, same color, same origin, different relationship. And in that difference, the entire distance between something that steadies your life and something that slowly unsettles it. I do not know what you are carrying right now. I do not know what you have placed close to your body without asking what it knows. But I know that the moment you begin to ask, the moment you begin to pay attention, something shifts. The channel does not close, but it changes direction. It begins to point toward the light instead of toward whatever is buried. That is the truth about turquoise. Not that it is dangerous, not that it must be avoided, but that it asks something of you. It asks that you show up with awareness, with honesty, with the willingness to know where you actually are before you ask it to carry you somewhere else. That is not complicated. That is just ancient. And the ancient things, the ones that have survived because they carry something true, they are always waiting, quietly, patiently, for the moment when someone is finally ready to understand. My people say, what you carry, carries you. Choose what you carry with open eyes.